We in Queens with it, on the grind. Mike G, you about to know what this is. My boy, how you doing? What's going on? Appreciate you for letting me step into the crib, into the humble abode, and do this interview finally. State your name, your occupation, and where you from, bro.
Yo, what's good, y'all? I'm dealing with the one and only Manni Theo, leader of the Lost Kids cult. I'm an artist of all sorts, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I like that. All sorts. Nah, I like that, bro. I like that. Thanks to, bro, my son Manni Theo. We don't go way back, but shit, soon enough, we gonna go way back, bro. Nah, for real. To get into this interview, I have recently seen in like one of the first interviews you ever did. It was called The Hot Seat, right?
Mm-hmm.
That shit still over. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably plug that in there and shit.
No doubt.
I seen that you started writing music at the young age of 8. So what started that spark? What started you, like, you know what I'm saying, wanting to write music?
I mean, honestly, I grew up in a very restricted household.
Right.
So my parents were very religious. So I essentially escaped a cult when I was 16, 17 years old type shit. And really the way that I grew up, I wasn't allowed to express myself. I wasn't allowed to, I wasn't really allowed to play sports. I wasn't allowed to make music. And honestly, I found at 8, 9 years old, the 50 Cent Massacre album.
And 8 or 9? Yeah, I know that should change your life.
Bro, it should change my life. That was it. I was what the fuck is this? I wasn't allowed to listen to rap. So, I was always listening to, a lot of different shit, a lot of 80s, 90s, soft rock and shit like that. So
yeah, I would say my pops, he put me onto a lot of 90s hip hop artists and shit like that. I wouldn't to this day I don't even know the names of the niggas and shit. But for a fact he would have it on his little iPod or his MP3 and I would listen to all his music and shit.
Exactly.
So I can definitely relate to you though too. Growing up in a religious household and shit. Because I grew up with my aunt. So she was a strict black auntie growing up. My aunt, she already knows who she is. Right. So yeah, growing up in a strict religious household, that shit, it develops another flower inside of you.
Exactly.
Inside of you, low key.
Exactly. No, that's a fact. So that was just kind of my outlet, honestly. Just the only place I could really express myself was through music. The only place I could really, be who I was. So yeah, it just kind of grew from there.
Yo, you gotta keep being you, bro, for real.
It's a fact.
Next question. What's your favorite part about making music? You know what I'm saying? What inspired you most to keep going with this shit too?
You know what's crazy is I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. It'll never not fascinate me that something can exist in your mind and then you bring it to a record or a music video or something and now it exists in reality. And that's always just a fascinating thing.
That accomplishment, that feeling.
And just music was, like I said, one of the only things that brought me, I guess, solace or comfort growing up. So I just want to be able to continue giving that back to other people. And if my music can help people in some way, shape, or form, then that's really all I need. That's it.
That's beautiful as fuck, bro. Because a lot of people out right now that I know, well, not a lot of people that I know, but a lot of people that I see trying to make music, they're really not trying to make music for that to go in that path. Right. They're trying to make music because they see how much other rappers have.
Right. They think it's easy and shit. Yeah.
And they just want the Bentley truck out of nowhere. They want this check, that check. Right. So yeah, bro. I understand that much as OD.
Bro.
So as far as your visuals and shit, I wanted to ask you, what visions do you have for your visuals before you have video shoots? Because I know, because the past video shoot I was just with you shooting behind the scenes. Y'all don't check that out. Get that one. You had said that was your first time writing a script. Yeah. So break that down for me. How did that go?
Honestly, it's been a process. If you see my videos, they kind of have evolved, I feel over time. In the sense of, I feel I had a little more a hand each time.
Okay.
But also just as an artist, learning the process of putting together a video, because I know a lot of artists have this constant, all these wild ideas, I want to do this and green screen and all this all these crazy effects and whatnot. And that is dope. We all want to put out dope shit, but making sure you're doing it in the right way, and also keeping in mind where you're at, whether it's your budget or whatever, where you're at in your career.
Yes.
So I think with this video, it's the first time that it really came together with me writing the entire script, the full concept.
Right.
And I started doing this back in maybe, I don't know, maybe like February. So it took me a solid like 6 months to just put everything together between the casting for the actors,
right. Okay.
You know, getting the different props, getting, you know, the actress, the main lead, shout out Amy Ward. But yeah, you know, it was a dope process though.
Yeah, I mean, because like that video, that shit looked official as well. So like, how long would you say like it takes to actually get everything together and like produce a great video that you have in your mind?
I mean, like I said, for me, it took, I want to say, you know, maybe starting back in February to put this together, but also, I don't think there's always a situation where the artist doesn't necessarily have a full team behind him, you know, backing the project. So,
that's a fact too. Yeah.
So, you know, I had to be the one for wardrobe. You know, I had to be the one to write the script. I had to be the one to find the director, you know. All these different things.
It may not sound like a lot of work, but that is a lot of work, bro. That's not easy, bro. Like, I swear to God, like, from what I've seen, the shit was like tip top, tip shape. You had to do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? Gotta be on point, bro.
It was funny when you sent me that too. It was actually funny to see myself work and shit. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. No, for real, because like you was in the zone too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tried to, well, I got the moment like where you said, yo, like, we don't have to do this, like, so, like, you know what I'm saying? We gotta do what we gotta do. And I was like, yeah, right, like, right there, that's the action part, right? After that, it gotta be straight action.
Right, that's it.
Getting into the next question, bro. We was actually talking about this kid. Last time I seen you, I wanted to say congratulations on the Adam 22 reaction.
Oh, I appreciate
for the video. You already know I gotta send you your flowers and shit like that. But I remember, like, you said you had to say something to me about Adam. Like, we all know Adam 22. It's 2023. We already know. Like, by the time this video is out, everybody's gonna understand it.
That's a fact.
But what happened? What, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, listen. It's all love. It's all love with the No Jumper group. It's all love. But it's real funny because I met Adam like for a brief second. He probably don't even remember the shit. That's what's mad funny. But I remember the shit. I was with my cousin.
Yeah.
And I think it was in like Soho. They was doing like a signing or some type shit. And I met him and he was acting just type funny style. Like, I ain't really want to bother because I'm not even that type of person. Like, you know, you see like celebrities and whatnot. Like,
not the type of person to jump at.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want no picture. I don't want no autograph. Like, literally, it was just like, yo, like, what's good, man? You know, just want to say, like, I appreciate the podcast and stuff there. And, you know, like I said, without getting too deep, dude was just acting type funny. And now I feel like the world is kind of seeing it now. The dude is just kind of a weirdo. Like, you know, because he just, you know, like I said, I this was years ago and I didn't have to speak on it. But, you know, people seeing dudes on some other shit. But at the end of the day, you know, the reaction was dope, and what I appreciated about it is I got very dual-sided reactions. There were the two of them that loved it, and then there's two of them that hated it.
Right.
And as an artist, that's where you want to be at.
Yeah, I mean, that's always gonna happen.
Because
especially for great artists.
Exactly.
There's millions of people that fucking hate great artists.
Exactly. Like, one of the dudes on there was, you know, dissing, you know, rest in peace to GOAT, Juice WRLD, and just like it's just funny, just kind of how they move, but. I'm gonna see them at some point one day. No Jumper, you know, they're gonna bring me on there.
Yo, and, I mean, No Jumper. Manni Theo, he's gonna come back with some kind of baggage, bro. I like. So I hope y'all niggas is ready, bro. Yo, getting into the next question. One of my favorite videos you put out, I Killed Myself in Cali. What was the inspiration behind that track?
So at the time, I had just moved to New York. Let's say maybe a few years prior. And when I first moved here, like you'll one of these days you'll probably hear it when I like re-release some of my old joints. That like initially when I moved to New York, I'm like 2-3 years like I'm blowing up, like I'm out of here.
Right. Yeah.
And just arrogantly, like because honestly my records wasn't there yet. It hadn't all come together yet. So it had been now 3 years to now 2019 that I've been in New York, and I just been caught up in other situations. You know, getting distracted. You know, female shit.
Life.
You know, just life shit,
life.
bro. Yeah, and I finally just like one day I was like, you know, I'm finally taking this solo trip out to Cali. I just need to, you know, just get away. Like everybody's like, oh, what we doing for your birthday? I'm like, nah, I'm taking a trip by myself. And it was just a very transformative experience for me, where I was just able to let go of a lot of shit and just get back to really focusing on what I need to be doing.
What helped you the most in Cali for you to like disconnect from everything that you left back here?
Just getting away and seeing more than the four walls I felt like I was trapped in, type shit.
Yeah.
And also, like, I mean, California, I just have always loved California culture. I'm a huge Lakers fan. Grew up watching Kobe. You know, as you see, you know, that shit. Yeah, but like, yeah. So just the fact of being there finally, because that was my first trip ever out there, and just realizing like, this wasn't even like OD to accomplish. Like, I know that if there's something that I want to get done, like I can do that shit.
That's a fact.
So just all of that comes together at that time. It just. And I also met my producer, shout out Stokes, my guy, Young Stokes. I give him so much credit because he shaped so much of my sound in the sense of like just helping me tweak little things and pulling the best out of my creativity.
Yeah, and without you taking that trip, you would have never met Stokes, you know what I'm saying? So that's a blessing for real. And take me through the process of what you go through inside of the studio to make tracks. So, you know, like when you book a studio session or you have a studio that you plan on going to, do you usually like write your raps, or do you get inside the studio, feel the vibe, feel the beat, and then like start freestyling? Like, what do you do?
I mean, for me, whenever I go to the studio, I already got my records already written out because I'm not the type that likes to get in there and waste time. So beforehand, like I typically will like to go to the studio and do minimum 3 records, but I feel like the most maybe we've done is like 6, I think, in one session. But yeah, I mean, typically I already have it written before I get to the studio, so sometimes I already have an idea before I find the beat that I want to write to. So maybe I'll have a concept or a few lyrics that I just, you know, maybe thought of in passing. But other times I'll hear the beat and the instruments kind of, I always say they talk to me. Like, they just kind of tell me.
As an artist, they're supposed to talk to you. They better talk to you. They better talk to you in that studio.
Facts, yeah. So it just kind of tells me kind of what I want to talk about as soon as I hear it. Sometimes it's immediate. Other times there's songs I've written in a couple hours. There's songs I've written in over the course of a few months. So it just depends.
Those think pieces,
Exactly.
So alright, so you said like 6 tracks. Mm-hmm. So was that like the most tracks you ever done in one night?
I think that's the most we ever did in one night. Yeah, I know there was one time back when I was like my first mixtape that maybe I recorded maybe like 7 in one night, but that doesn't even really count type shit because like I was like in the crib and it was like garbage production. That wasn't that wasn't like real recording. But
I don't know what it is. I feel like when artists when they first start writing and first start getting inside the studio, because like Meezy, I met him in college type shit, and like I started going with him to the studio in Harlem type shit, 138th, and he was busting out like 7, 8 tracks a night, and I was like, most of the nights it was just like he would have 3 of them, like set in stone. He's prepared for these. Right. But after that, it's just straight listening to beats and freestyle, getting into this and that. Like, word gangster, bro, I swear to God. So it's like the work ethic. What I see your work ethic as, it's like phenomenal. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, bro.
Word gangster, that from my own eyes. Were the relationships you felt was causing like the end of the world type shit? So because I know like in a lot of your songs, you pour out a lot of emotions and shit. So like. Delving into like certain relationships and shit, did you feel like, alright, this is about to be the end all be all, I don't want to do this rap shit no more? It's like, you know.
In terms of like the relationship affecting my desire for music, kind of.
Yeah, desire for music, desire for life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like.
True. Interesting. The relationship that this record is about, the Stop Calling My Friends joint.
Comes with.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah. So that relationship was from some time ago, but that was the last one that it was just sort of like I had gotten to the point where I almost didn't even really want to do music the same way, just because the pressure that was being put on me to be somebody else at that exact moment, rather than being patient and appreciating what was being given at that time. So that point definitely did break me, but in a way that I didn't think I could be broken again, because I've definitely had a lot of horrible luck with relationships, but looking back, it was honestly great luck, because God was setting it all up for something much better, and I needed to be destroyed in that way. I needed to be broken in that way, because I essentially feel like I came out reborn on the other side, because it's to the point now where nothing can really affect me, nothing can stop me, nothing can break me enough.
You found a way to reel yourself back in through your music. You know what I'm saying? Like something that you was about to quit on, you actually found a way to be like, this is what's gonna actually help me. This is what's been helping me the whole time, ever since you was a kid. Like you said, you grew up in the religious household and stuff. So that the whole the idea of music around you is like really beautiful, man. I feel like I can see that. Definitely. Take me through the dance track that you had just recently put out. Like, what inspired you to come up with that? Because when I heard it, like I was like, hey, I'm like, hold up, you feel me? Like, right. So, and I see a lot of people like reacting on Instagram and shit, like they really fucking with the track. So, it's like, was this like out of nowhere, or you like didn't have this planned out?
Nah, actually. So, like I said, man, this past year has really just been a wild year. Like, so just, I feel like I've gone through a lot of evolutions, as we all have, in life, But this year for sure was one for the ages, because basically that I finally got in a space where I was able to write something about that situation, from that past relationship, and it was one of those situations where when you break up with someone and they do some foul shit, and all of a sudden now they want to check on you all the time. They want to reach out to your friends, like, just look out for him. I hope he's okay. I'm really gonna miss you guys. And people that you wasn't even talking to like that when we was together, all of a sudden, I'm gonna miss you guys. And really, it's just your guilt manifesting, and you want to try and get out ahead of it, just in case I let people know the way in which you violated whatever.
And you acting like we can't see it, bitch. We can see it, bitch.
We see it, bitch.
Come on, like, you can't be in it.
But so it just kind of got to the point where now, she's reaching out to my friends and stuff, and so that's where the title of the record comes. Stop calling my friends. Just move on. Do your own thing. Stop being pressed about me. Stop worrying about what's going on, and focus on yourself, because it's done, and you'll never be close again. That's it.
Yo, man,
that's the record.
Yo, he just gave out a whole background for the record, so y'all gotta check it out now. Like, you might as well check it out, bro.
That's it.
One more thing I'm gonna give you your flowers on. Definitely was on that verse on the Sweet track, with the feature Grim Chifa.
Yeah.
Facts. Like I heard that verse, and I just wanted to acknowledge it. Like, yo, bro,
appreciate
for real, like you definitely snapped on that shit. So was that a studio session where y'all worked together type shit, and it was like y'all was just going off in the booth?
You wanna know what's funny is like that record, not a lot of people have heard it, but recently it's because that was from like shit. Oh, funny enough, that was the first record that I did with Stokes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Cause yeah, he's in New York, so that's my guy. So
Type shit.
that's my producer for basically everything. But yeah, so that was the first record I had done with him, and my man's Grim Chifa. I'd known him since like high school type shit, and he had hit me up for his album that he was dropping, and he sent it to me, and funny enough, actually, I'll give y'all this because I hadn't told nobody this, but I actually had that verse for like years.
Forever.
Years.
Oh, see, you just waiting for the perfect beat. Like, yeah, I'm about to rip this shit, nigga.
That's a fact. You know, we made little changes to it here and there, but basically, yeah, I was sitting on that one for a minute, and it just worked perfectly.
It did, bro. It did. So it's like the whole flow and shit, the beat change. I was like, oh, wait, nah, I ain't hear this nigga do this shit yet, bro. Like, this shit was sounding heard, bro.
Appreciate that.
Getting into the next shit, what's one distraction that could or has taken effect on you, and how do you bounce back from like such distractions? You know what I'm saying, within music, and this could be like for aspiring artists coming up too. You know.
Honestly, two things. Ego can definitely be a distraction.
Yeah.
And damn, what was that one? I definitely just lost my train of thought. But ego, I'll say for one, just to start, because like I said, like when I first moved up here, and even all my life, like I always thought like, especially like being a young nigga, like I remember seeing like Lil Chucky, who Young Money had signed.
Yeah.
Who was like 12 years old, and I remember seeing young niggas like that and being like his age, and like, oh, I'm better than him, like I should be signed already.
Right.
And like, it's great to have that confidence, but mine was misplaced coming from a place of ego, and just thinking like, oh, you know, I was still working at my craft, but that mindset I feel like can slow you down a little bit, because
you think you're better than everybody.
Exactly.
You think you don't have to grow and change.
Exactly.
It's like you're not even growing and changing.
Exactly. And that was the other one I wanted to say is procrastination.
That's a huge one.
Yeah. And honestly, it's something that I still struggle with, and you know, I'm still trying to improve on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, I think we sometimes take the time that we have for granted, and especially in our youth, like we think that's just gonna be here forever.
That's a fact. Yeah.
And yeah, man, just like getting after it, like stop wasting time, stop thinking, oh, like, you know, I'm just better than everybody, I'm gonna blow up one day. All right, so then fucking prove it, do something about it, do it, put some shit out.
And instead of like laying down in the crib, actually get up.
Right.
And do the work. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't do the work, if you don't feel like doing it today, somebody else is gonna do it today.
Right.
And you're gonna try to do it tomorrow, but what does that mean? You're gonna try to feel like doing it the next day?
Right.
You know, so that procrastination shit. Like sometimes I be dealing with that shit too.
Right.
But one way how I bounce back from that, like I just think about life. You know what I'm saying? That whole youth shit and how we not gonna have this shit forever.
Right.
It's like I'll be catching myself. I'm just scrolling on my phone and I'm like, oh,
right, what the fuck am I doing? Right, facts.
Like, nigga, there's niggas right now that's like, you know, doing it. Like, every post that I see, that's people working on the phone type shit. So, like, I could be doing that same shit. So that's why we doing this right now. The on the grind shit. This is why this shit is mad real, bro. For real. Last question of the whole shit I wanted to ask. From the recent shoot you just had, what was the budget for that video, bro? Like, bro, like I don't have a pocket watch, but bro, like if y'all understand the level of like it wasn't like, all right, 30 locations, but for the 2 locations we was at, it was pretty heavy. He had mad actors, he had motherfuckers from Ukraine, motherfucking like I'm like, yo, this nigga's valid right now, bro. Bro, like,
I'm crying.
That's just crazy.
I mean, so what's funny though, actually, is too, we shot. That was day 2 of shooting. We shot the day.
Yeah. I seen some of the hospital snippets. Yeah, bro.
So it initially was going to be a lot lower of a budget, but it ended up being, I think, like around like 8-9. I think something like that.
8-9 bands, bro.
So
8-9 bands, and like I'm telling you right now, that's probably one of the best 8-9 bands I ever seen anybody spend, bro. Because that shit was real life, bro. I'm talking about from the dances Bro, the lead actress, what's her name?
Amy Ward.
Shout out to her, bro. Cause when I first walked into the spot,
she going places.
Bro, she had like makeup, crying and shit on her face. I'm thinking, yo, like, is this bitch alright? Like, this bitch is crying, like in the middle of the party.
This is what I gotta tell you, cause I gotta give her flowers too, because like the day before we were shooting the hospital scene, and she had just done like the little like Visine and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the second day, she's like, nah, that shit look fake as fuck. Like, I'm gonna just really cry. And she just got in her mode. She went through her whole process and was just like, nobody fuck with me. And she bodied that shit. When I tell you,
every time the camera turned on, it looked like she was in pain.
Nah,
like,
she was
for real. I was like, yo, is she good?
She was fine. Listen, mark my words. What is it? August 12th, whatever, some shit. Amy Ward going places.
August 14th.
That's a fact. August 14th, 2023. Amy Ward.
Yo, this is Mike G. That's me, Manni Theo on the grind. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click that bell, and make sure you tune in to all of the interviews I got coming up for y'all. Appreciate you, my dog.
No doubt.
Another Mike G OTG interview. We on the grind forever.